Alright guys, it's been a while since I've worked on my dozer and I'm back on it. I've got the hydraulic pump for the backhoe hooked up here. That bottom hose was broke in two and I've got it going to send it out to be replaced. I'll probably end up replacing all of these. I'm just going to have to do them a few at a time. And on the backhoe there was two back here. In a previous video I showed you one that was really rusty. It came off the third one there, and then the fourth one had tape wrapped around it. So I went ahead and took both of those. I'm hoping that replacing these three will get it going, and then I'm going to have to just go through like this one. I mean, it don't look good, but as long as it's not leaking, I can't afford to do all of them at one time. There's a lot of hoses on this thing. Two on the pump. There's 6 on top and looks like 6 on bottom. And so at least 14 hoses. That's going to get expensive to replace. But what I'm working on is trying to make something to hook up to this, to come out with the shaft, to run, put a pulley on to run the hydraulic pump. And what I was thinking about doing is I've got this piece of metal and I'm not happy with that. I've got some more of this metal. I'm going to take to a machine shop and get them to make a duplicate of that inner washer with the 3 bolts. That's pretty thin. And the bolts are long enough, I think, that if I can make it out of this and then somehow weld a collar on it with an inch shaft, it don't have to stick out very far. And it just has to spin true. So if I can get a machine shop to make me a shaft to bolt onto that, then I can run this pump, and then on the other side, the output shaft of the engine, just got to slide me a pulley on there. And that'll run the front loader. So right now I want to get this shaft made. I want to replace these hydraulic hoses. Let's step out here and I'll show you what I got. This one was the one that looked so bad. And the big one there is the one, it's broke actually in 2 places. And then there's the one he had tape wrapped around. That just tells me replace me. I don't know about you. But eventually I want to replace all of the hoses. I'm just going to have to do a few at a time. Alright, let me see if I can get this made and I'll video some more. Alright, I've adjusted my plan as to what I'm going to do. I bought this collar. I have this 1-inch solid shaft. I'm going to weld this shaft right onto that. I got to find dead center. And then I'll weld the shaft into the collar. And then I can slide my pulley on there. And I think that's going to work. And then what I did is I took the cover off and I cut the center out. And let me get it around here. And that fits perfectly in there. And so that's what I'm hoping is going to work. I'll have to weld that up pretty solid. That's a pretty thick washer. And I'm hoping that it's centered. That bolt should be centered. So if I get that collar welded centered onto there, it should spin pretty close. So, alright, let's cross our fingers and see what happens. Alright, so what I did is I took the nut out. I've got this bigger washer and I put it on there and it just fits inside of these bolts. And I took and wrapped the nut in masking tape. I can pull that out, take my needles and reach in there and pull that out. And the reason I did that is to center this collar over that nut because I had just a little bit of play. And I tacked it in 2 places there. I started it and it is spinning true. So the next step then is to take this 1-inch shaft and get it to go in here and tack it in. And I'm probably going to cut it some because it's a little long. Let me get my camera around here. That'll ride like that. And I can probably take about 1 inch off of that. And I'll have to get that to spin true. And then weld it up real good. I think it's going to work. Let me, while I've got this here, slip this cover on and see what it's going to look like. So right there's what the finished product will look like. Wonder if I voided my warranty with Predator. Who knows? All right, so that's the next step. Let's get this shaft welded in there, and we'll be ready to put a pulley on it. And then I've got 3 hoses that I got to get made, and I hope this backhoe is going to be working. All right, the fun continues. Seems to be spinning pretty true to me. I'm going to put a few more tack welds on this washer and make sure that it's good and secure. And then I'll weld up the shaft to the collar, and I have a pulley coming. I couldn't find a pulley locally. Tractor Supply normally has those, but they didn't have one. So I ordered it, and it should be here in a few days. Then I'll get the belt. I'm going to have a little longer belt, and then hopefully get these hoses made. All right, my pulley came today. I ordered this thing yesterday afternoon, and it arrived today. $5 shipping, $13 for the pulley plus $1 something for tax, $19 and some odd cents. And it's a 3.5-inch pulley, about close to the original. And I've got it, it felt real tight on there, which is a good thing. I'll tighten the set screw, and then I got to weld in the shaft. And it spins. Let me spin the engine over here and show you. So that spins real nicely. So I'm happy with that. I've got to have a 1-inch longer belt. That looks like to be about 25 inches. And I measured around the 2, and it's going to be a 26-inch. And I took the 3 hoses today to get remade. And hopefully they'll have those ready. They should have them already ready. I can pick them up in the morning. And so maybe by tomorrow afternoon, which tomorrow's Saturday, I can have this thing going. Cross your fingers. All right, I'm going to wrap this video up. I've got the shaft welded in. Got the belt on there. It's off just a little bit. It runs fine. I may put a spacer there behind the pump. I don't really want to go any closer on that grate. Got my hoses put in, and I took this thing out. I got a pile of wood chips out there, and went out and played in that just a little bit, and about 10 minutes into it, yep, I busted a hose. That one right there. That hose right there popped. So I'm going to go get some more hoses made. I'm going to go through and pick a few more. $250 for 3 hoses and 1 belt. That 3/4 hose there coming back was $112. And then this other one that goes back here, this one, it's the longest. I forget how much it was. They're not cheap. But it worked. I've got to fix this outrigger on this side. And this thing I think is going to do good. All the cylinders seem to work good. I'm stumbling over stuff here. My building is so packed with this thing in here. It's time to clean it out. Anyway, I got to play with it a little bit. I'm going to end this video here, and maybe Monday I can get some more hoses made and get some footage of me working on this with this thing. Thanks for your interest.